What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the world's best fantasy show right here on 1252 Sports Chicago. I am Tarbill. To my left is DaMouse. I'm sure you've noticed that we're missing our main guy, Space, tonight. He had to have a procedure done today, so he was unable to join us, but we wish him a quick recovery, and he'll be back with us next week. What's up, Ty? How we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great after what happened in last night's game, man.
Oh, I'm sure you are. I was watching that one going, I can't believe they're going to pull this out. I can't believe they're going to pull this out. And then they did, and I shook my head.
I was not expecting that, and the refs tried their best at the end to take it away, overturning that Aaron Jones touchdown, but we got lucky.
They did.
AJ Green handed us a W there at the end.
Yeah, I was really surprised the Pack performed the way they did last night, especially considering you were without Davante Adams. I mean, that's a huge blow to your offensive arsenal.
Yeah, we were missing our top three wide receivers. Davante was out, MVS was still out, and then Allen Lazard had COVID as well. So
I knew Lazard was out. Are you considering MVS a top three receiver on the Packers now? I thought you didn't like him.
I do not like him, but he is the third option on that offense. So yeah, we saw Randall Cobb step up in a big way. He only caught 3 passes, but 2 of them were crucial because they were in the end zone.
Yeah, I saw a stat during last night's game that it showed like career touchdown or career passes caught, and it was Randall Cobb and then the 3 other basically rookies that you guys had out there last night, and it was like 529. 14 and 3 or something crazy that.
No, they were just plug and playing guys. We did lose Bobby Tunyon. He's out for the rest of the year. So we're going to have DeGuara. He's going to have to step up. Last night, he looked terrible, though. There was numerous plays he did not know where to line up, especially coming down right at the wire. we had to take a delay of game on the 1-yard line because he couldn't line up in the correct spot.
I was wondering what that delay of game was for. I did obviously see it happen, but I was doing homework, so I was multitasking, kind of watching the game and doing something else. So I didn't see that particular play, but I did see the delay of game. So frustrating to see your tight end one go out. He was actually a guy that I spent money for in our guillotine league to get because I needed a tight end. So
it didn't work out very well for you, huh?
No, I took Christian McCaffrey with my remaining balance, and he's still out on IR. So go figure. We don't always make the best choices, but
nope, not at all.
I'm still in it, which is more than you can say at this point.
Yeah, no, I was out. I believe it was week 3, mostly because of a goose egg laid by Bobby Tunyon.
It was sad, but I had Cole Kmet as my tight end because I had a little bit of homer in me that thought that maybe the kid would have a breakout year, but our offense has just been atrocious these last few weeks, which really makes me scared to go up to Chicago on Sunday to watch the Bears and Niners game live. My dad's a Niners fan, so I know he's going to be giving me lots of shit if the 49ers end up winning that matchup. So,
well, at least on the Bears offense, you have one bright spot, and it's Khalil Herbert right now. I mean, nothing else is working besides Khalil Herbert.
It's absolutely incredible to have such depth at running back that a third string running back can step in and produce over 100 yards per game. I mean, how often do you find a guy in the 6th, 7th round that's capable of doing that? So, great pickup on the Bears' part, I guess, with Khalil Herbert. Be nice to see David Montgomery back once he comes off of IR, obviously. But I almost have to think that he'll end up taking the number 2 running back spot in Chicago.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that if you think Herbert was going to overtake Damian Williams. That's what I'm thinking, too. I'm thinking it's probably going to be like a 60% for Montgomery, get Herbert on the field 30% of the time, and then Williams will be soaking up the change of pace role.
Yeah, I would agree. And then Cohen, whenever he comes back, obviously will be plugged back into that gadget back role. I don't think that really, honestly, I don't think the Bears need Tyreek Cohen with the depth they have at running back right now. But we all know Matt Nagy, and he's a gadget-loving guy. So sure enough, he tried to line Cordero Patterson up and run jet sweeps like crazy last year when we still had him. So, which was just total underutilization of a guy, but that's Matt Nagy's MO.
Yep. Yeah, no, Matt Nagy he's getting pretty close to being on the level of Adam Gase incompetence when calling a game. It's pretty bad.
I heard a comparison to Mark Trestman after the game against the Bucks on Sunday, and as much as it blew my mind, I thought about it, and I'm like, this is the same shit that we drove Trestman out of town for, the inability to produce on offense with offensive weapons. I mean, yes, the Bears' offensive line is hurt right now. It's getting healthier. It sounds like Larry Borum's going to be back. So we'll get one of our 2 draft picks back here soon. But still, the Bears' line is in shambles. But we've got some weapons at receiver. I mean, Allen Robinson has averaged like 30 yards per game this entire season. And that's just – it's horrible for guys that want to pick him up in fantasy, like myself, thinking, okay, he'll have a breakout year with this rookie quarterback, and it's yet to be seen. But we'll see what happens Sunday against San Fran in that regard. I think it's a much easier matchup for this Bears offense. So
what did I try to tell you going into that Bucks game, huh? The Bears wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I didn't bet the spread because I almost did. I'm like 13.5. That's a gimme. And the Bears put up 3 points.
You want to hear a horror story here real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my brother-in-law he put together a same game parlay on the Bears-Bucks game. The only leg of his parlay that did not hit, he took the Bears plus 28.5 on an alternate spread.
Plus 28.5?
And they did not cover the 28.5.
Wow. That's a horror story. I mean, really, it can't get much worse than that. But I will say this, I will not bet on the Bears as long as Matt Nagy's the head coach. I have zero faith in his play calling ability. I know they're saying Bill Lazor's calling plays, but it was apparent that Matt Nagy had his hand in the pot last week. I mean, you started to see.
You might not get Matt Nagy this week, isn't he in the COVID protocol?
Matt Nagy is on the COVID protocol as of now, and I listened to the Bears presser today, and he basically said that he's not sure if he's going to be clear for Sunday or not. He said he'll know Sunday morning. Gotcha. So he's being very vague. He wouldn't describe if he had any symptoms, if he felt sick, anything like that. He wouldn't even tell people if he was at home, which prompted ESPN 1000 to think that maybe he was in the basement of Hallis Hall or in the Walter Payton Center isolated by himself. But I don't know what's going on with Matt Nagy. The guy can't even answer the simplest questions. Time and time again, we talk about how he was supposed to be crowned the offensive guru here in Chicago, and his offense is dead last in every stat category that's relevant. Well, maybe not every category, but pretty close. I mean, when you average what our average probably pulled down to around 12 points a game after that. Yeah. After that three-burger we put on the scoreboard last week.
I think it might be the lowest scoring offense in the league now, behind the Texans and the Jets.
It would not at all surprise me. I mean, we just can't find an answer for anything on offense. Although Justin Fields did come out and say that him and the wide receivers would start meeting via the Zoom platform so they could go over route trees and have the ability to audible route trees at the line and things like that moving forward. So it's yet to be seen if that's going to pay off, but hopefully this weekend we'll see some.
If they thought that was an issue, then why is that not something that they've been working on in previous weeks? We're going into week 8 now, and that's something now you want to work on with your wide receivers?
I don't disagree. I think a lot of people that are viewing the product the Bears are putting on the field now, as bad as it is, are forgetting that Justin Fields didn't get any reps whatsoever with the ones in training camp all the way up to the regular season. And obviously we're seeing how detrimental that was to his development now because he's trying to gain chemistry on the field. Last week we saw a few passes to Allen Robinson where Robinson just wasn't quite in the right spot, or Fields thought he was going to be here, put the ball there, and it ended up getting picked because Robinson stopped and ran a drag in that situation, or whatever the case may be. So I agree it should have happened sooner, but I'll take it happening now. Let's build some chemistry and let's move forward together. That's all they can do at this point.
Yeah. All right, well, you want to roll into the matchups for week 8?
Yeah, absolutely. I could sit here and talk about the Bears all night, but we got our guy Allen to talk Bears on Thursdays and Sundays, so we're talking fantasy football here tonight. So
you want to have a high note, not just talking about a terrible fantasy offense in the Bears.
Yeah, exactly. Moving forward, so week 8 matchups. The first game we got is Philadelphia and the 0-7 Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, somehow they're getting praise for their head coach being a winless team. I'm not sure how that quite equals to anything because they've yet to be able to win a game. But with that being said, who do you like on the Lions team this week, Ty?
So the praise for Dan Campbell is because that team sucks, but he has them. They play as hard as they possibly can. And you saw it last week when they went out against the Rams. And what did they jump out to, a 10-0 lead?
Yeah.
Going for it on 4th downs, onside kicks and stuff like that, fake punts. So he has these guys playing as hard as possible. And this week, I actually think that the Lions do have a chance to win this game. They're at home. They have limited opportunities against very bad teams to win a game. And I think they can stun the Eagles this week if they go out there and play as hard as they've been playing. But you asked who I liked on the Lions side.
You're going to say Swift, obviously. I know that.
Swift and Hawkinson are the only two guys I think you could play on the Lions side.
Okay. You're going to stay away from Williams?
Yeah, I don't think this is the game script for him.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. We've seen Williams. He has some games where he's got heavy usage, and then other games where he's not getting much usage at all. He is still playing around 30% of the snaps, and on a pretty bad offense, I don't think that's it's very
Significant.
useful for your fantasy team. Yeah.
Okay. So on the Philadelphia side, obviously you're going to you're going to take Jalen Hurts if he's available, but why would he be available with his gadget upside?
Mm-hmm.
You've got Kenneth Gainwell at running back. Would you go for Gainwell, or are you going to stay away from him in this game?
Yeah, I think Gainwell is a very strong running back too this week. Or if you have the depth to possibly plug him in at flex, he is going up against a pretty bad Detroit defense. We have seen teams run the ball all over them all season long.
Right.
I don't think it stops this game. The only thing that concerns me is if for some reason they want to get Jordan Howard involved, they are elevating him from the practice squad. He might eat into some goal line opportunities, but I think Gainwell has a pretty solid floor with the amount of volume he'll be seeing.
Okay. And then obviously at wide receiver you have Smith. You're probably gonna want to play him if you're able to, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have a cake matchup against that Lions defense. Is there anybody else on the Philly side that you would be interested in this matchup?
Dallas Goedert, just on usage alone, just because with Zach Ertz still being gone. When Zach Ertz was there, if you combine those two guys, they were a very useful tight end, but they split the snaps and the receptions. So neither one of them were viable when they were both active. But now with just Goddard being the only guy in town, I think Goddard still is he's probably around tight end 8, probably for the rest of the season, right around there. He is going to be a useful fantasy tight end.
Ertz has had his production go up a little bit since he's been in Arizona as well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it didn't work to his favor last night because they were playing the Packers, but so the next matchup we got is Cincinnati and the New York Jets. Man. I guess we can start with who wins this game. We both agree that Cincinnati wins this game, right?
The Jets don't have any shot with Mike White.
Mike White is their quarterback in this matchup. That's right, because their prodigy child got hurt last week. Always a shame to see a rookie guy go down for any amount of time, obviously, but the Jets, that's a team that you're trying to build around your rookie quarterback, and then he gets hurt. That's extremely detrimental to the season. On the Jets side of the ball, we'll start there. Is there anybody that you think's a viable option for the Jets this week?
I think Michael Carter, he's a running back 3, a desperation flex option. We saw him last week. Was it was 9 targets he got after Mike White came into the game. So I mean, if he's going to be checking it down to Michael Carter all game long, Tevin Coleman is still out. It's just going to be Michael Carter and Tyler Johnson. But Michael Carter is the better running back. If Mike White's going to just check it down to him, he does have a pretty solid PPR floor.
Okay. Fair enough. And there's nobody else on the Jets that you would try to touch. You're going to stay away from Moore and Crowder.
Yeah, Corey Davis is also listed as doubtful for the week. I don't think he plays.
Okay. And on the Cincinnati side, obviously, Joe Burrow's a gimme at quarterback. He's been putting up great points all season. Joe Mixon is currently projected over 16, and he's a guy that I have in 2 of my fantasy leagues. So I'm surely hoping that he has a big game, but Mixon's a guy that I hadn't really watched a lot of in recent years, and then I took him this year in the fantasy drafts, and the guy is an absolute workhorse. I mean, I don't think he gets enough credit for the volume that he gets, and just the quality of the carries he puts on the field and the yardage that he does get.
So Joe Mixon, since he's been in the league, I've always said he's a top 5 running back in the league. He just early on in his career was not getting the usage because Gio Bernard was still there and soaking up the third down opportunities. But now that Gio's been gone, Joe Mixon's been shining a little bit. Only thing that's tough
absolutely.
is Samaje Perine has been getting a lot of third down work. And
Yes.
I actually think Samaje Perine is a solid desperation flex, or if you're very stuck at running back this week, because I think the
Okay.
Bengals completely blow the Jets out this week.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if they do that,
we saw what
it's
happened last week with Mac Jones and the
mhm.
Patriots.
But yeah, if they blow the Jets out, Samaje Perine's going to get all the fourth down work again, just like he did last week when the Bengals played the Ravens and they blew them out.
Right. And then at receiver, obviously, Jamar Chase, he's had a incredible connection with Joe Burrow, which everyone kind of anticipated would eventually get back to the chemistry they had previously playing together. And it's shown. I like T. Higgins. He's a guy that is always, I kind of compare him to Tyler Lockett in my head. He's either boom or bust most of the time, but he's a solid receiver, and he's gonna at least get you 10 points probably in a game, if especially in a matchup like this. I would think T. Higgins has at least one, if not two touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are both low end wide receiver threes this week. If you're in a 3 wide receiver league, more than likely you're starting them in either one of your wide receiver spots or your flex spot. I don't think they really have the upside this week. Just with it's going to be game script dependent, and I think they blow them out, and they're not going to be throwing a lot this week.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But CJ Uzomah at tight end is interesting too. As a tight end streamer, if you're stuck there,
okay.
I do like CJ Uzomah. He's been being utilized a whole lot more the last couple weeks. I think he's got a touchdown in his last 2 games. Actually, last week against Baltimore, he scored 2. But yeah, you're just looking for a touchdown from a tight end streamer. I think CJ Uzomah has the possibility to do that this week.
Okay. Before we move on, we do have a quick question here in the chat from Chandler Brunelli. I'm looking to add Carson Wentz since Brady is on a bye this week. Should I drop Latavius Murray or Devontae Parker?
So
what's your thoughts, Ty?
I'd probably lean Devontae Parker there. I mean, Latavius Murray is an all right drop too, but I'd rather drop Parker first because Latavius Murray still is technically a starting running back in the league, and those are always valuable no matter what team they're on.
Well, he just followed up here with, my running backs are Aaron Jones, Damian Harris, Eli Mitchell, A.J. Dillon. Wide receivers are Ridley, Woods, Higgins, Waddle, and Bateman.
Yeah, I'd go with Parker then.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I don't think there's any doubt there. Get rid of Parker, leave Latavius Murray on your team, and live to fight another day. I would almost suggest staying away from Carson Wentz unless he's the best available quarterback in your league, in my opinion. I think you always run that major injury risk with Carson Wentz. You never know if he's going to finish a game or if one hit's going to take him out in the second quarter.
I don't know if you've looked at Carson Wentz stats at all, but he's been playing pretty solid this year. I do like
since he came back, he's been playing decent.
He is a streamer, and with like he said, he's got Tom Brady on a bye. Let me go check his matchup for next week.
Okay, yeah, and then here in the comments,
he has the Jets.
He said Wentz and Bridgewater are the best available. So yeah, I would. In that case, I would go with Carson Wentz. I'd stay away from Tyler's guy Teddy Two Gloves.
Hey, Teddy Two Gloves is pretty solid too.
Moving on, we've got Carolina and Atlanta. This game's just going to be a shit show. Can we agree on that? Who do you think wins this game? Do you think Atlanta pulls it out over Carolina? I think Carolina's became very one-dimensional without our guy CMC on the field. So
yeah, especially we're getting old Sam Darnold again. We're getting New York Jets Sam Darnold, and which is not a very good NFL quarterback. But yeah, I think the Falcons do pull this one out.
Okay, I shouldn't say is there anybody, but who do you like on the Falcons? I'm going to say stay away from Mike Davis. That guy was a bear. And I hated him when he was in Chicago. No, in all seriousness, Mike Davis is probably a guy you could pick up in a pinch. But who do you like on this Atlanta team?
So yeah, Mike Davis is. I think he's a sit unless you're in a very, 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 very desperate situation. We saw what happened last week, and they like Cordell Patterson a lot more than Mike Davis for whatever reason.
Yeah,
they are giving Cordell Patterson so much work. But yeah, it's got to be Patterson, Ridley, and Kyle Pitts on the Atlanta side.
Yeah, I'm reading here that Cordero Patterson's projected over 17 points at wide receiver. So that's absolutely mind-blowing.
He is eligible at wide receiver and running back. So
right. So you'll get volume from him there for sure. On the Carolina side of the ball, are you gonna go with anybody there? Hubbard?
Yeah, Chuba is just a volume play. He's a running back too, just based on the amount of volume he sees. And then DJ Moore, I think those are the only two guys you will feel comfortable starting on the Panther side.
Fair enough. I've said it time and time again when we cover Carolina, I'm not a big DJ Moore guy. He cost me a lot of games a couple years ago when he was having boomer bust mentality, and because of that, I've stayed away from him. Now, since then, he's produced okay, but I'm kind of in that regard. If I take a guy in fantasy and he doesn't perform well one season, I stay away from him no matter what moving forward.
I mean, every year is a different year, though. You got DJ Moore, who's wide receiver 10 so far this season.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong. I guess I need to open my eyes a little bit to DJ Moore. I might be sleeping on him a little bit. Before we move on, Tyler, let's go ahead and take a quick break and hear from a couple of our sponsors here at 1252 Sports Chicago. And we'll be right back with you guys here in about 60 seconds.
Let's do it.
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show, as well as the 1252 brand, because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend, or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for a fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
All right, guys, and we are back. You just heard from 2 of our sponsors here at 1252 Sports Chicago. Our guy Paul over at Nick and Ivy Brewing Company, always mixing up some delicious brews for everybody. They got the Fat Mike Chicago Lager and the Hubner IPA, named after our guy here at 1252, as well as ESPN 1000's Fred Hubner. So great beers. Be sure to check them out if you're in the area. And John Darren and his team, if you're looking to buy a home in the area, They will hook you up. They are the best guys. Make sure if you're looking to do real estate in Illinois, you give him and his team a call.
Isn't the Fat Mike beer, isn't that supposed to be going into Burcott's here or soon?
I believe it did, actually. I thought I saw a photo that it did. So
well,
Fat Mike available in store now.
Burcott's in the area, be on the lookout for it.
I think it's only at their Lockport location currently, but we'll get some clarification on that one as well. Moving on with our matchups, Tyler, our next matchup that we have is going to be the atrocious Houston Texans and the Los Angeles Rams. So obviously we have to agree that the Rams are going to clearly take this one. I mean, the Houston Texans are 1-6. I don't think anybody thought that they would win a game at this point in the season, and they've managed to win one, but it hasn't been up to the level that they've needed to be all season. So 1 second, guys. We're going to take a quick 30-second. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, and we'll be right back with you.
Real estate is hot right now, and you need an attorney to handle all of this. My guy, Mark Berardi, does this all day long. He's a straight shooter. There's no fancy language. He's just to the point. And he and his team get the deal done. There's no BS. He also does estate planning, trusts, wills, and power of attorney. He has great reviews up and down the board from a ton of happy clients. For him and his big team, they're all just down to earth and normal people as much as he is. You will not be disappointed you went with him. He's located in Homer Glen and New Lenox and handles real estate all over Illinois. There's no place too far, so give him a call today at 708-942-8030. Again, that's 708-942-8030, or look him up online at Mark Berardi and Associates.
And there he is. We got the mouse back with us after a quick technical difficulty. Did you hear what I was saying in regards to the Texans game, Ty?
I did not know. I don't know what happened there. My screen went black and couldn't hear or see anything.
Well, technology is great until it's not great. We had one of those moments. But that being said, I said with the Texans in this Rams matchup, obviously – no one even really thought the Texans would win a game up to this point in the season. At least I didn't. And the Rams are 6-1. They're red hot. Can we agree that the Rams are going to win this game?
Oh, the Rams completely blow them out of this game.
Yeah, it's not even close. I think it's going to be an atrocious game. It's going to be a beating similar to what the Bears took from Tampa Bay last week. Texans might score more than 3, but I don't know. With that being said, is there anyone on the Texans side of the ball that you're interested in this week, Ty? Maybe
so
Cooks?
I'm actually going to go away from Cooks this week. You still got Jalen Ramsey on the outside. He has not been shadowing as much this year, but still Jalen Ramsey on the outside scares me with the wide receiver. But I do like David Johnson this week as a running back 3. Not saying he's going to go light the game up on fire or anything like that, but just with the amount of volume he will be seeing now with Mark Ingram over in New Orleans, I think he is a nice running back 3 with a little bit of a running back 2 upside.
Okay. Understandable. I'm a David Johnson fan. I mean, the guy came into the league as a practice squad guy and went all the way up to a number 1 role. You don't see that happen very often. Granted, it was mostly because of injury and then he got moved around, but I like David Johnson. He's a local guy. He's from Clinton, Iowa, and played high school football at Clinton High School. So in the area, he's a pretty relevant guy, and it's cool. It's always cool to see those guys from your area end up in professional sports and kind of follow them no matter where they go. Other than that, obviously on the Rams side of the ball, got Matthew Stafford. If he's available by some miracle in your league, take him. Henderson at running back. You want to go with him if you got him, Ty? You like him? Obviously, he's been pretty solid all season. Michelle, you going to stay away from Michelle in that RB2
no.
spot?
No Sony Michelle. I think he's strictly a handcuff right now.
Okay. And then out of the receiving core there, who do you like the most?
So Cooper Kupp, just he is obviously Matthew Stafford's number one option. Cooper Kupp has been phenomenal this season. Cooper Kupp, you start him with no issues at all. Robert Woods does give me pause though, just because of the game script of this game. I think they do blow him out, and I don't think Matthew Stafford has to throw the ball as much. But I mean, Robert Woods, he's a guy you drafted around the 4th, 5th round, maybe even as early as the 3rd round in some PPR leagues. He's a guy who you more than likely don't have a better option, so you're going to be plugging him into your lineup no matter what. And then Tyler Higbee, I do like Tyler Higbee this week. He's a top 10 tight end.
Okay, we got a quick question here in the chat. I have Waller and Goddard. Considering packaging Waller and Goddard with a wide receiver for Tyreek Hill. The guy has Knox and Ali Cox. What package would you recommend to get Tyreek Hill? What do you got on that one, Ty?
Could we see the wide receivers again real quick?
Absolutely. Let me bring that back up.
Well, yeah, because he listed Waller and Goddard, but he didn't list any wide receivers there.
With a wide receiver for Tyreek Hill. I don't know that, in my opinion, I don't know that if I was on the receiving end of that trade, I don't think Waller and Goddard, even plus a receiver, would be enough to get me away from Tyreek Hill. But at the same point, the Chiefs have looked absolutely horrible over the last few weeks as well. So his receivers are Ridley, Woods, Higgins, Waddle, and Bateman.
I'd see if you could package possibly Ridley and Goddard for Tyreek Hill. I think that gets the deal done.
Really?
Yep.
So you are saying Tyreek Hill's majorly undervalued almost in that regard, Ty?
Not that he's undervalued, but he listed the other guys' tight ends as Dawson Knox and Mo Alley Cox. Dawson Knox is still dealing with his broken finger. He should be back soon, but you don't have a guarantee on that. And Mo Alley Cox is a guy who he needs guys right now.
Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense. He's in win now mode. Okay.
But yeah, Mo Alley Cox is a guy who's out there seeing 20% of the snaps and getting maybe 2 or 3 targets a game, and you need a touchdown from him to be fantasy viable.
Right. Moving down the list, we've got Tennessee at Indianapolis. Obviously, I think Tennessee takes this game. Do you agree?
Honestly, I don't know which way this game goes. I think this game can go either way. Tennessee has been playing great. We did see what they did to Kansas City last week. And
Derrick Henry is a monster.
And then on the other side, Indy has been playing great too the last couple weeks, and they do on defense what you're supposed to do to stop Tennessee. They are great against the run. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a fantastic game.
Okay, so you think it might be a little closer of a matchup than
so
people, and when I say people, I mean me, are giving them credit for, because I'm sitting here thinking that Derrick Henry's going to put up 3 to 4 touchdowns and it's going to be a blowout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, right now, Indy is actually a 2.5 point favorite in this game.
Is Indy at home?
Indy is at home, yes.
Okay, so in that case, you really get handed 3 points typically. So
it's a pretty even matchup, and I mean, it's loaded with fantasy viable players too. I think this might be the best game of the week.
Okay, so on the Indy side, we'll start there. Who do you like?
I think Carson Wentz is a viable streamer this week. Jonathan Taylor, he's obviously a locked and loaded top 5 running back option. And then Michael Pittman, I think he's done enough to almost be a lock in your lineup every single week. I think maybe you want to see one or two more solid games from him before you just say he's a locked and loaded wide receiver in my lineup. And then
And I think I'm losing you again, Ty. It's that Green Bay Packers hat you're wearing is messing with your connection, bud. I'll go ahead and cover the Tennessee side of the ball here real quick. So, obviously, Ryan Tannehill been playing decent over the last few weeks. You've got Derrick Henry in the backfield. Tremendous. I believe Derrick Henry is number 1 in the league in rushing, obviously, and then I believe his yards after contact are number 2. I saw that last week in rushing yards versus everyone else in the league. So it's just crazy to see. It's just crazy to see how Derrick Henry has performed, and I'm really high on the guy. I think he's a great running back. If you were able to draft him, he's your go-to guy. Obviously, you got to stick with him, but Derrick Henry has won me some matchups where I was a tremendous underdog this season. The guy's just an animal.
Right now, yeah, Derrick Henry is the top dog at running back in every format, even in a PPR league where that's not his strongest scoring system. But
right.
Yeah, what he is doing right now is unbelievable.
And then I think at receiver, you have to be interested in Brown this week, right? We saw the targets that he got last week. I mean,
mm-hmm. Yeah, AJ Brown is a locked and loaded top 15 option at wide receiver. Julio Jones is out for this game.
Yes,
I don't know if you caught that. Julio Jones
I did see
out.
That.
So yeah, it's just gonna be the Derrick Henry and AJ Brown show, just like it was last year.
Right, and hey, it worked for him last year most of the time. So
that it did.
Going down the list, our next game is Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So Pittsburgh's 3-3, Cleveland's 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield looks great sometimes, and then he looks like, I don't even know, let's say Jay Cutler sometimes. Big Ben has no time behind that line. First, who do you think's going to take this game? I think Cleveland's going to win it. What do you think, Ty?
Yeah, I think Cleveland does win this game as well. The Steelers aren't just not a very good team. Mike Tomlin, though, has coached them. They should not be 3-3 right now. That just shows you how good of a coach Mike Tomlin is, that he's dragged this team to a 3-3 record. But right. Yeah, in a close divisional game, the Browns are solid. I don't think the Steelers pull this one out.
On the Steelers side of the ball, is there anybody you like? Obviously, Najee, I would think, right?
Yeah, Najee is locked and loaded as a running back 1 for you. And I do like the only 2 wide receiver options for the Steelers. That is Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. Deontay Johnson's wide receiver 2. Claypool might be a fringe wide receiver 2-3 with the possibility of booming for you. He has in his career gone off against the Cleveland Browns. Let me pull you up his exact stats. But he has played some phenomenal games against the Browns.
Okay.
Last year against Cleveland, 5 receptions for 101 yards and a touchdown. And then he also had 4 receptions for 74 yards. And then I don't have in front of me right now what he did in the playoffs against them last year.
Okay. So good matchup for him on Sunday, obviously. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, moving over to the Cleveland side of the ball, Nick Chubb's a gimme. You're going to take him. You're going to play him. If you got him, you're going to start him. What about Jarvis Landry or Beckham? You going to take either of those guys?
I think Jarvis Landry is a low-end wide receiver 3. And unfortunately, OBJ, man, what used to be, man, OBJ fell off the face of the earth. I don't think he's a viable fantasy option now until we see something different from him. I don't think anybody is comfortable plugging him in their lineups right now.
Is Kareem Hunt hurt?
Yeah, he's still on the IR. He's still got 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks? Okay.
Yeah, this week. And
that's what I thought.
Week.
I knew he went to IR, but I wasn't sure the extent of the injury. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's lined up for him to come back after their bye week.
Tight ends for Cleveland, you staying away from Hooper, or are you going to go for him in a pinch?
I think you have better options in a pinch. I do have a dynasty league this week. I am stuck playing David Njoku, which I'm not very happy with that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I didn't mention him because I knew I was going to butcher his last name. So congratulations to you for that excellent enunciation. And then here we go. Now we're where I want to talk for a minute. Chicago Bears and San Francisco 49ers. Bears are 3-4. The Niners are 2-4. Neither team has been playing great football this year. I'm going to be realistic here, guys. I'm going to say it. The Bears have not been playing great football. It took all the way through last week for me to be able to admit that, but no, the Bears offense has been atrocious this season, and it's a damn shame because we're wasting that aging yet still elite defense. Each and every week we're just wasting them away while our offense puts up horrible effort. With that being said, I do think Chicago pulls this one out. I think it's a very low-scoring game. I think it's a very defensive game. I think it's probably 17-14 Chicago. Who takes this game in your eyes, Ty?
Man, I don't know. This is going to be a very bad and sloppy game. I could see outcomes to where the Bears do take it or the 49ers take it. I think the 49ers have the better chance. I think they just have more playmakers on offense, but I'm not very confident with that pick.
Well, we can just skip right over the entire Bears offensive unit because I think if you have anyone on your fantasy team that's a Bears player, I think you move away from him. Maybe with the exception of Darnell Mooney.
No. Herbert is the only option on the Bears side.
Okay.
Especially after what we saw last week, him putting up 100 yards on that fantastic Bucs defense. In that terrible game script, he was the only bright spot for the Bears team. Just with what we've seen the last 2 weeks, I don't think you can move away from him in your lineup. He is a running back who is producing big points for you right now.
Fair enough. I was scrolling through the lineup and I missed Herbert at the top, so I will give you that. Quick question in the chat here. Should I drop Bateman for T.Y. Hilton? Thoughts?
If you need a wide receiver for the week, yes. If it's for the rest of the season, no. I think Bateman has more upside than T.Y. Hilton. I mean, what we've seen from T.Y. Hilton over the last couple of years is what you're going to get. You play him against the Texans, he has a monster game, and you don't play him against anybody else.
Fair enough. So on the 49ers side of the ball, you're staying away from Jimmy G, right?
Unless it's a 2 QB league, yes.
Okay. At running back, they've got Mitchell, and are they so down to their depth? They've got Juszczyk listed as their second running back in San Francisco.
He does. It's just the usage he gets. He sees a couple targets a game and a couple rushes.
Okay.
And we have seen Kyle Shanahan. He does not like Trey Sermon for whatever reason. He does not want to use him. And then Michael Hasty is still being eased back into the game plans. He just came back last week.
As far as receivers go, obviously you've got Samuel. He's going to probably have a fairly decent game against some soft pass coverage in the Bears. Anybody else? Do you like Ayuk, or are you going to stay away from him?
No. I wouldn't touch Ayuk with a 10-foot pole right now. For whatever reason.
Obviously Kittle's out, so
he should be back next week is what I was reading.
Next week. Yep. Okay. That'll be a huge compliment to the offense to have Kittle back. I mean, he's a wide receiver with the label of tight end, essentially. So
yeah, I think all around, Kittle, when he is healthy, he's the best tight end in the league. Just what he does blocking and what he can do on the receiving end.
Fair enough. I wouldn't disagree with you there. I mean, Darren Waller, as great as he's been, he missed some wide open catches against the Bears, and that really made me question Darren Waller what was going. I mean, maybe he was just having an off game with the whole Gruden thing that was going on at the time, but I don't know. I agree with you. George Kittle's probably number one when he is healthy and performing like he is healthy. Next game is the Bills and Miami. The Bills are going to walk away with this one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts here, Ty?
Yeah, not even close. The Bills are gonna blow the doors off of Miami.
So on the Bills side, I think you obviously like Moss, you like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and probably Sanders as well, correct?
Yeah. Josh Allen, he's locked and loaded. He's top 3 option this week. Zach Moss, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Zach Moss. I think he is a low-end running back too.
Okay.
Singletary, I would not play him unless he's a desperation flex option. And yeah, Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, they're in your lineups. And I also think you can get away with playing Cole Beasley as a wide receiver 3 or flex this week in a PPR league.
Okay. And that's probably really strictly because of the matchup this week, right?
Well, the matchup and the amount of volume he does get.
Fair enough.
I mean, we've seen the Bills this year. After they get up, they don't ease up and run the ball. They just
They keep their foot on the gas. They go full steam.
Yep.
On Miami side of the ball, you're staying away from Tua, in my opinion. You agree?
Yeah, unless it's 2 QB.
Okay. Gaskin, I know you're a fan of Gaskin, so let's hear your thoughts on him. And it looks like that Packers hat's running interference on you again, Tyler. This is why you don't be a Packer fan, people. This is exactly why right here. Tyler's internet was perfectly clear the last time we were on. Now he puts the Packers hat on, and he's having all sorts of technical difficulties. Now, in all reality, it's something that we got to work through. Obviously, wide receivers, you've got Jalen Waddle locked and loaded at the wide receiver 1 for Miami, I should say, not wide receiver 1 overall. Hey, there he is.
Yeah, man, these technical difficulties, man. It's like every 7-8 minutes, boom, there it happens again.
Every time you cut out, Ty, I just make fun of the fact that you're a Packers fan until you come back. So it's okay. I could do that. You can cut out another 10 times, and I don't think I'll mind. I'm just kidding. But I was just getting into the wide receivers on the Miami side. Obviously, you've got Waddle and Parker, both viable options, I would think, this week. Is there anybody else on the Miami side of the ball that you like?
Mike Gesicki at tight end. The amount of volume he has been receiving over the last couple of weeks, he has been performing on the level of the elite tight ends over the last couple of weeks. In a PPR league, week 5, he put up 10 points. Week 6 against Jacksonville, 23.5, and then 25 over in Atlanta. So, I mean, what he is doing lately, you do not want to move away from him in your lineup.
Fair enough. Moving forward, we've got 2 horrible teams. This is another horrible matchup, in my opinion. You've got the 2-5 Seattle Seahawks, which who thought we would be saying that at this point in the season? The Seahawks are 2-5. Yeah. And the 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars, led by Urban Creep Meyer. No, in all seriousness, who do you like in this game, Ty? You think Seattle pulls it out?
I think Jacksonville can squeak out a W this week.
Really?
I think they can. Yeah, Geno Smith has not been playing well. I mean, the offense as a whole under Geno Smith has not been playing well. And I mean, Jacksonville,
Chris Carson's still out.
Jacksonville, they go out there and they play hard. I think they have the opportunity to upset Seattle this week.
So we got some breaking news here in the chat that the Falcons are shopping Hayden Hurst. I don't know how stunning that is.
Send
him over to Green Bay. Yep. You do need another player. You do need another guy over there, so you might as well take him.
Give him a 23 6th-round pick, and let's get a deal done.
Interesting news. We appreciate the comment there, Chandler. Moving forward in this matchup, staying away from Geno Smith on the Seattle side, do you like Collins at running back for Seattle at all?
If you're desperate, I think you got to play him with the amount of volume he's going to get, but I don't feel good about him. I think he's a fringe running back 2-3 on the week.
And then obviously at receiver, you've got DJ Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Are you playing both of those guys if you got them, Tyre, or are you staying away from Lockett because Geno Smith's the quarterback?
Yeah, I'm staying away from Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett has been awful with Geno Smith. DK Metcalf last week was pretty bad too, outside of the first play of the game where he took it to the house? Yeah. Other than that, that was all we saw from him. DK Metcalf, I think just with the talent, you have to have him in your lineup unless you're stacked at wide receiver and you have better options. But you need to temper your expectations. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. I think he finishes in the low end wide receiver 2 range this week.
Okay. And moving over to the Jacksonville side of the ball, Trevor Lawrence, staying away from him.
I think he's a nice streaming option this week if you're streaming quarterbacks. Okay. Seattle has a piss poor defense. They just give up massive chunk plays left and right.
Okay. I can see it. That's a good streamer tip there. Mm-hmm. At running back, James Robinson, you going after him. He's solid.
Locked and loaded.
He's locked and loaded. Wide receiver, you've got Jones playing. If you've got Jones in your lineup, I would start him this game just because, as you said, the Seattle defense is absolutely atrocious. They've been giving up chunk plays like crazy. Mm-hmm. We do have a quick question here. If Debo's calf injury lingers, could Ayuk go off?
That's up to Shanahan, and what Shanahan has shown us this year is for whatever reason he does not like Brandon Ayuk. It's very
I don't get it either.
It's very similar to what happened a couple years ago with Dante Pettis when he was there. Dante Pettis, his rookie season, the second half of the year, he played phenomenal. He came into training camp the next year. He was on Shanahan's bad side. And then next thing you know, he's gone. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I don't trust Brandon Ayuk at all. I would need to see it. Even if he has a boom game 1 week, I need to see it happen in consecutive weeks at least before I start to trust him again.
Fair enough. I would agree with that as well. On the Jacksonville side, one more player to talk about probably would be Shenault. You like him this week?
Yeah, I think Chenault's fine as a wide receiver 3 or a flex this week.
Okay. Moving into our next matchup, we got the Los Angeles Chargers and the New England Patriots. Patriots sitting at 3-4 and the Chargers sitting at 4-2. Who do you like in this game, Ty?
I think the Chargers pull this one out. They have the better talent around the ball.
I would agree. Justin Herbert really this season has broken into that, I don't want to say the upper tier of quarterbacks. I don't think he's there yet, but he's been playing very well and very consistent over the course of this season. At quarterback, would you take Herbert if he was an option to start?
Yeah, Herbert's locked in as a quarterback 1. Even going up against a pretty solid New England defense, what he's done this year and what he showed you last year, he's got to be locked into your lineup unless you have an elite option ahead of him.
And then continuing on the Chargers side of the ball, we've got Austin Eckler. I am a huge Austin Eckler fan. I was drafting him in leagues before people realized he was going to get more than 5 points a game. A lot of people slept on Austin Eckler early in his career, and I've been a big fan of his since he came into the league. Smash that starting role with Austin Eckler if you've got him on your team, guys.
I don't know if you saw the news that Austin Eckler is questionable. He has not practiced the last 2 days, and the Chargers came out today and said they're hopeful he does play.
Ooh, well, in that case, don't smash him into your starting role, but I really like Austin Eckler. If he is healthy, he's a no-brainer. But that may be a game time decision or game day at least decision for you if you want to roster him or not. At wide receiver, you've got Williams on the Chargers side, he's been getting tremendous volume this year with Herbert. You got anybody else here on the Chargers you like? Do you like Cook?
No. So I do like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen at wide receiver. I actually think Keenan Allen does have the better game this week. I think the Patriots will want to try and shut down Mike Williams. He moves the ball more, and we've seen constantly Bill Belichick will take away the number one option.
Yeah.
And Mike Williams is known for his big plays down the field, his big chunk plays. So I think they try and double team him, take him out of the game, and let Keenan Allen work underneath along with Austin Eckler if he is active, and if not Justin Jackson. I almost called him Josh Jackson.
Yep. On the New England side of the ball, who do you like there? You like Harris at running back?
Yeah, I think Damian Harris is the only option this week on the New England side. The Chargers' run defense is one of the worst in the league, and if the Patriots want to win this game, I think they're going to need to control the ball and chew a lot of clock, and they're going to lean on the back of Damian Harris.
So no Myers in this game at wide receiver?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you might be able to get away with him as a desperation flex. You might not have better options either, but I'm not too high on him for this week.
Okay. Another what I would consider atrocious matchup we got. Washington and Denver playing. What do you think about this game? Who do you like? I think Denver probably pulls this one out.
Yeah, I think Denver too. I mean, Washington, they just have an atrocious defense, the worst pass defense in the league. They just passed the Chiefs over this past week of being the worst in the league. But
which is crazy.
Yeah, especially what they did last year. Last year they were a phenomenal defense. That's what kept them alive.
Right.
Just a complete 180 this year.
So Teddy Two Gloves, you're staying away from him unless you're in a 2 QB league, right?
No. I like Teddy Two Gloves as
a
streamer
man.
This week. Yes, Teddy Two Gloves is a nice streamer this week for me.
Okay. I can respect it. I can disagree with it, but I can respect it. At running back, you've got Williams on the Denver side. He could probably be a low-end running back 3, right? You would think.
I think Williams and Gordon are both at that fringe running back 2, running back 3 range as they've been all season long. They're both getting 50% of the touches. Nobody's breaking away and getting more. It's what we've seen all year. Unless somebody gets hurt, I think that's the range both guys are at every single week.
Okay. Sutton for wide receivers, you like him?
Yeah, I do like Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. I mean, you might not have a better option. You might need to plug him in your lineup right away coming off the injury. But I'd like to wait and see a week. This is a nice matchup for him to come back and get right. Have a nice couple chunk plays, get his legs underneath him again, and then hit the ground running for the rest of the year. But I'd like to see it for a week from Jeudy before I go all in on him again.
Fair enough. On the Washington side of the ball, obvious. Well, I shouldn't say obviously because I thought you'd want to stay away from Teddy Two Gloves. Are you staying away from Taylor Heineke?
Yeah, Taylor Heineke. I'm not touching this week.
Okay. At running back, who do you like for their options? Do you like Gibson or do you like McKissick? Because they've seen almost equal usage so far.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks with Gibson stress fracture in his shin, they have been using McKissick a lot more. Gibson was actually taken off the injury report. He was a full go on Friday, so he will be playing this week. I think Gibson and McKissick are both low-end wide receiver 2s this week. Gibson's going to do a lot of the work on the ground, and McKissick is going to soak up all of his targets in the passing game. And especially in a game, I think they will be playing behind. So, I mean, I like both options as a running back 2 or a flex play this week.
Okay. And then for wide receivers, do you like McLaurin?
Yeah, Terry McLaurin. Yeah, he's a locked in wide receiver every week. And then at tight end, I don't think we mentioned Noah Fant to start on the Denver side.
We
But
did
on the-
not mention
yeah.
Fant.
And then on the Washington side, Ricky Seals-Jones, I think he's a low-end tight end one this week. He has been performing well over the last couple weeks with who's their tight end? Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas has been out over the last couple weeks, and Ricky Seals-Jones has filled in admirably for him.
Yeah, Logan Thomas is unfortunately on IR, and he was another guy that your guy here, Tarbill, drafted, and now he's sitting on the bench. Man, the players that I've seen go to IR on my teams this year has just been atrocious. It's been a more injury-prone year for me as a fantasy football player than it ever has previously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this year has been rough all around with injuries.
So our next matchup is one that I think is going to be very interesting. We've got Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Do you think New Orleans has a chance in this game, Tyler?
No, I don't think so. Unfortunately, Jameis, I'm a huge Jameis guy, but
I was going to say, I was giving you your time to...
He's not the guy. He's not
I was giving you the time to lift your guy, famous Jameis, up. You were all about him like week 2 when he had 5 touchdowns for 150 yards. So
I've always been all about famous Jameis, but man, it's not looking good for him this year. And I mean,
no,
it can't all go on him. He does not have the playmakers in the wide receiver room. He's going out there with Marquez Callaway as his top option.
Right. But he does have a guy named Alvin Kamara who's a tremendous running back.
Yes.
That can also catch.
And we didn't mention at the top of the show there was a trade that went down this week. Mark Ingram is back home with the Saints.
I did see that he's listed here as the number 2 running back over there.
Yeah, Sean Payton said immediately he will be back in game action. And before they made the deal, Mark Ingram did sign a contract extension with the Texans. So now the Saints have him under control for this year and next year.
Very nice. I've always been an Ingram fan, and I think it's a good place for him to go back to his home where it started and see what happens. So, hey, never know. Maybe he could be a guy in a couple of weeks that we're talking about having a tremendous role. I don't think he's going to take a lot of action away from Kamara, obviously, but he could get a lot of those third down carries if he performs well.
Well, so they needed to bring somebody in. They could not continue to keep giving Alvin Kamara the amount of work he was getting and expect to have him later on in the year. He was getting incredible amounts of usage. And so, I mean, I'm glad to see Ingram come in. Kamara's volume is going to come down, but you have a higher likelihood of having him all season long now that he's got somebody behind him.
On the Tampa Bay side, obviously Tom Brady is Tom Brady.
Yep.
Leonard Fournette, you like him?
Yep. Lock him in. He's a running back too this week.
Evans and Godwin both, I think they're locks.
Yep. Lock them in. With Evans, temper your expectations. We've seen over and over again. Marshawn Lattimore will shut down Mike Evans. I believe Mike Evans has only had 13 or more PPR points against the Saints in one of his 8 career games against them. So Lattimore does routinely shut down Mike Evans. So leave that in the back of your mind. Don't expect a 3 touchdown game that like we got from him last week.
Well, they're not playing the Chicago Bears, God damn it, Tyler.
But then Gronk being back too, I think you're plugging him back in at tight end.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say is Gronk's back, he's healthy. He's got to be a starting tight end unless he's sitting behind Darren Waller or somebody on your team, which if you've got both of those tight ends, you drafted horribly or you made a hell of a deal after the draft. But looking at our next game, we've got Dallas at Minnesota. Dallas is currently 5-1. I think Dallas takes this game. Do you agree, Ty?
Yeah, Dallas is actually a 3.5 point underdog in this game on the road.
Really? Okay, well, I guess you get 3 for being the home team, so they're really a
Mm-hmm.
half-point underdog, but still.
Well, so there is question marks on the Dallas sideline. Dak Prescott is not a lock to play this week.
Okay, that's right. He's still dealing
Yep.
with ankle injury, correct?
Yeah, he's listed as questionable.
Okay.
Well, it's a calf injury, but yeah,
Calf
he's listed
injury.
as questionable.
So who do you like in this matchup? Obviously, if Dak is healthy, he's probably a lock,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a big if. You've got Ezekiel Elliott. Obviously, he's a lock if you've got him. What's your thoughts on Tony Pollard? He's been seeing some increased usage lately.
Yeah, Tony Pollard, you can pretty much lock him in for about 10 touches a game. It's a mixture of receptions and rushes, but you do like him getting those receptions because in a PPR league they're worth a whole lot more than rushes. But
Right.
Tony Pollard is a nice flex option.
CD Lamb and Amari Cooper both in your starting lineup if you have them.
Yeah, CD Lamb, absolutely. Amari Cooper has been the Amari Pooper of old lately.
Oh,
I
get
know.
out of here.
What do you mean, dude? He hits for 1 week, he disappears for 10 weeks, he hits again for another week, and he's gone for the rest of the year. It's Amari Cooper. It's the same old Amari Cooper. But you do need to have him in your lineup for the possibility of one of those boom games that he does have the chance to go for every single week.
Okay. Moving to the Minnesota side of the ball. Well, actually, Schultz at tight end. Do you like him for Dallas?
Yes. Dalton Schultz is I think he's a middle of the pack tight end 1 for this week.
Okay. On the Minnesota side of the ball, I'm going to skip right over Captain Average Kirk Cousins. You can say something about him if you want. I hate
Streamer.
Kirk Cousins. Streamer? Okay. Delvin Cook, obvious lock. Jefferson, obvious lock. Thielen, obvious lock. Anybody I'm missing there? You like Conklin at tight end?
Conklin is a streamer if you're in a pinch at tight end, but KJ Osborne, he's another guy I'll touch in when I give my streamers here at the end. I do like the possibility of a KJ Osborne touchdown just because I think this game will be a shootout and there will be a lot of points. I think KJ Osborne does have the possibility to take one to the house.
Okay. And moving on to our last game of the week, Monday night, we've got the New York Jets and the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my God, who makes the Monday Night Football schedule? This is a game that nobody's going to want to have to sit through watching. I'm just kidding. But in all reality, looking at the Chiefs, you've still got to take Mahomes. You've still got to roll with him if you have him on your team. Just from his rush ability, right? He has that upside. Williams at running back, you like him or are you staying away from him, Ty?
Yep, he's a running back too this week.
Tyreek Hill, obvious lock on any team at any given Sunday. McCole Hardman, what's your thoughts on him?
You can get away with him as a desperation flex option, but I wouldn't be too happy with that.
And obviously Travis Kelce, top 5 tight end in football. He's going to give you good production every week. Yeah, exactly. I would agree. On the New York side of the ball, I'm staying away from Daniel Jones. I have zero faith in Daniel Jones. Booker at running back, personally, I'd stay away from him unless you absolutely had to go with him. But
Booker, he's a starting running back in the NFL that's going to get volume, and not a lot of teams have that. So, I mean, if you have him on your team, more than likely you will be plugging him in.
At wide receiver, who do you like?
Nobody. We don't even know who's going to be playing this week. Just like last week, Tony, I think he got a limited practice in this week.
Okay.
Shepard, another limited practice. Kenny Galladay didn't practice Friday. Slayton will be there. There's Slayton and Pettis for sure. Possibly Tony and Shepard, but we're not going to know. It's the Monday night game. I don't think you can trust any of them in your lineup because if you have them in your lineup, if they get declared inactive Monday night, you're screwed. You're not going to be able to pick anybody.
Real quick, I just do find it's interesting before we move on to note that Saquon Barkley is third on the depth chart at running back currently.
Yeah, it's just because he is. I believe he's listed as doubtful. He's not playing, but it's
Is he?
just
Okay.
because he's projected for 1.8 points somehow.
Okay. But obviously, if he's not playing, that plays a huge factor. And to wrap it up before we get into your streamers and your bets here real quick, Ty, obviously we did see last night the Green Bay Packers somehow managed to cheat their way to a win against the Arizona Cardinals. I think Aaron Rodgers handed each of the referees $50,000 before the start of the game. I'm just kidding.
No way.
That last night, it was a hell of a game. Actually, the refs did everything they could try to do to screw the Packers in that one, which is something that I don't say very often. But hell of a game by the Packers and company, given their injuries. And, they hand the Cardinals a loss, which I think the Cardinals needed to be brought back down to earth a little bit, get a little more level-headed moving forward. We've seen it time and time again when teams go undefeated. They typically don't do well in the playoffs unless you're the Patriots. So
they didn't.
And they didn't either. So with that loss, I think that kind of levelizes things for Arizona, and they get back to doing good things next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we wrap the show up here, Ty, I know you've touched on a lot of streamers throughout our discussion, but is there anybody else that you haven't touched on that you would like to bring up as a streamer?
So pretty much everybody was touched in when we were previewing the games here, but I'll just run through them real quick just to point them out. We got Carson Wentz versus Tennessee and Teddy Two Gloves versus Washington for quarterbacks this week. Running backs is David Johnson versus the Rams. It's not a very good matchup, but just with the amount of volume he will get. And then Samaje Perine against the Jets. I believe he will have a lot of usage towards the end of the game because I think the Bengals are going to blow the Jets out. Wide receiver here, I got T.Y. Hilton versus Tennessee. T.Y. Hilton always has the possibility to take a deep pass to the house if he is playing. Keep an eye on that. I believe he is playing, but he is listed as questionable. And then KJ Osborne versus Dallas, like we touched on a couple minutes ago when we were previewing that game. And over at tight end, I have CJ Uzomah versus the Jets and Ricky Seals-Jones versus Denver. All those guys are under 50% rostered in all Yahoo leagues, minus Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is 53% rostered.
Okay. Carson Wentz is rostered a little bit lower percentage-wise than I would anticipate him to be. Mm-hmm. We got a quick question here from Diamond Gamer in the chat. Who wins this trade? Chris Godwin, Damian Harris, and Jalen Waddle for Deontay Johnson and Darnell Henderson. Who wins that trade, Ty?
I think the Johnson and Henderson side there, without a doubt.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. So Diamond Gamer, hopefully you are on that side of the trade. Best of luck with your trades. Hey, I rejected a trade in our 12-man PPR league this past week, Ty. I don't remember the exact offer that I was being given player-wise, but it was like two bottom receivers for one of my, I would consider, more elite players in, I want to say it was in Derrick Henry. I thought I was being offered like two receivers and a tight end for Derrick Henry, and I'm like, no way. I can't do it.
Yeah, you can't trade a running back right now, just with the landscape we're in, and especially being the number one running back. There's no way in hell you could trade him unless you're getting an absolute all back in return.
Right, unless you're giving me an entire team, and even then I'm not so sure I want to do that trade. Do you have any bets for the fans before we wrap things up, Ty?
Yeah, so I got a couple bets. Was a solid week last week. Went 2-1. The only game we missed was the Rams game. I took the Rams minus 16.5, but I did live bet the Rams minus 3.5 and then minus 7.5. I did hit those.
Okay.
But it's all because Dan Campbell comes out there with all them trick plays. The Rams couldn't cover the spread.
Those
But
trick
anyway.
plays are crazy.
Anyway, this week I got the Bucks -4.5 against the Saints. I don't think the Saints have the firepower to keep up with the Bucks.
Okay.
I got the Cowboys +3 against Minnesota. I think the Cowboys are the better team, and I think it is a close game, and the Cowboys do have the chance to pull it out.
I would agree with that one. I don't know that it's going to be as close as 3 points, but I think the Cowboys win that one.
And I got Joe Mixon anytime touchdown score. It's -115 odds right now on DraftKings. That should be a lot lower. That should be like -200, especially going up against the Jets. The Bengals are going to be able to do whatever the hell they want with them. And I think
so what you're saying is I should put about $500 on that bet.
Well, I only condone responsible gambling over here. These are only 1 to 2 unit bets for me.
Well, maybe a unit's $250 for me. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your unit, go right ahead then.
A unit is not $250 for me by any means, but no. I agree with you on Mixon. I mean, he's obviously going to get a touchdown. That's almost a guarantee.
And I usually give 3 bets here, but I did find a 4th bet that I really do like this week, and it could possibly be 2 bets depending on how you wanted to do it. Is the Detroit Lions +3.5, and I will be also sprinkling a little bit of money on the Detroit Lions money line.
Really?
Yes. I think the Lions do pull this one out this week.
You did say it, but I don't know that I'd put money on it. No. With that being
a little 1 unit bet, it's not a big deal. It's not going to kill me.
Right. No. With that being said, Ty, great streamers, great bets there for the fans. If you like betting, speaking of, immediately following our show here at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we've got our guy Harry the Greek jumping on for the Over Under podcast. So if you're already on the YouTube, make sure to stay tuned, get a quick break, and then come right back. And Harry and his team will go over some hot bets. Harry is on a heater. This guy is incredible when it comes to betting. And if you want to win some money, Harry the Greek is the guy to follow. I'm telling you guys that now.
Yep. Yeah,
Tyler DaMouse will go 500 for you, but Harry the Greek will get you where you need to go when it comes to betting. I believe he was 13-3 there for a while. I'm not sure where he's at now, but Harry, incredible guy when it comes to betting. Really all sports. Baseball, at the end of the baseball season, he was doing tremendous there as well. And definitely go listen to Harry and his team for all your betting needs. With that being said, guys, I am Tarbill. He is DaMouse. We'll be back with you next week at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully with our guy Jeff Schwartz, Spaceball, back healthy and ready to talk some fantasy football with us. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
On my money.
Yeah, it's in the mail, but he forgot to put 2 stamps on it, so it's going to get sent back to his house. No. With that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in and have a good week. Hopefully your picks pan out, and we will see you next week right here on the World's Best Fantasy Show on 1252 Sports Chicago.
See you guys.